Welcome back to another video. Today we got incline bench. It is day 13 of this block. We called it normal. If you guys are newer to the channel, all this is, we're just trying to show what normal training looks like. We're also trying to just get ourselves back to a normal state of training before we got hurt, and just trying to get ourselves back to be able to get back onto the platform, hit some PRs and stuff like that. So right now we're just trying to build back up. Like I said, today is day 13 of this block. We got incline bench today, so we're just gonna get to it. We've got some pec work to do, and then see how we can push our main bench. So if you guys are newer, if you guys did hit like for me, if you could subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to post 4 to 5 times a week on this, and just post my training. I pretty much talk the entire time about training, programming, different things that I'm seeing within the powerlifting sphere. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's just kind of get into it. All right, well, we just wildly biffed recording my top set, my first back off set for incline. So I don't know, just gonna get you up to speed. We took out 185 is what we did last week as well. Last week we did it for 4. This week we just did it for 6 reps. Wish I had the video for it, but it moved extremely well. It moved the same that it did last week, even with adding the 2 reps. So didn't lose a lot of speed on the bar compared to last week. So still, there's a progression. There we go. We did a back off set of 135 for 10. So basically, for how I figure out my back off sets for incline is I take 25% off of the bar, and then I'm going to add 2 to 4 reps of whatever my top set was. So for incline, right now what I'm shooting for on my top set between 4 to 8 reps. So meaning that I can kind of pick where I want to be for that day. I want my progression, what I want the style to be within, because I don't think that the progression needs to be such the focus, as long as there is some type of form of progression. Does that make sense? So for instance, giving myself a good rep range of 4 to 8 reps, if I really just want to hammer out 6s on this movement, then I can come in and hit a set of 6. And then next week, try to add some more weight and hit it for a set of 6. Or I can get to a weight that I can hit for 4 and hit it for 4. And then come in the next week and try to hit it for 5 or 6 reps. And then come in the next week and then 6 to 7 reps. And then hit it again, until that's my progression. The same weight, but I'm progressing the reps. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. By last week doing it for 4, this week doing it for 6. So here's our progression with that. Now the back offs, taking 25% off the bar is a lot, and that's gonna go from having a harder top set to a fairly easy back offs if we were to keep the same rep range. So what I do is I take 25% off for load management, and what I do is I add reps to compensate for it in volume. Because volume is really what I'm searching for in this day when it comes to it, because I'm looking for a lot of pec work in this day. So if you guys are kind of newer to the channel, basically what I do is I steal everybody else's stuff. I put everybody's training modalities and reasonings behind things, and I kind of put them together where they fit. Sometimes it takes experimentation to figure it out. So right now, a good example is trying to figure out where this progression fits, and does it fit better on incline or what. But I did steal this from Greg Knuckles. I've ran a bunch of his free programs. I think he has like an Excel sheet that's like 28 free programs or whatever. I've ran multiple different ones on those, squatting twice a week, 3 times a week, deadlifting 1 time, 2 times, benching 2, 3, and 4 times a week. Like I've done a lot of those programs, and I picked this up from one of his bench programs, where that's what he had you do: take 25% off, you added reps, blah blah blah. So far works super well. I really enjoy it. Like I said, we already did 1 back off set. When we hit it for 10. Oh man. All right. Whew. All right, that feels really well in my head, at least in my opinion. So we're gonna do, I believe we're gonna do one more back off. Let me double check here. Yes, we're gonna do one more back off set. I don't remember who I got it from right now. Off the top of my head, I'll have to look at it. But I picked up from somebody very recently about volume and how to structure how many sets you should be doing when it comes to like main movements and stuff and what you're driving forward, or honestly, like in general, how you should be progressing it and moving it forward. So basically, it's this rule about if you're gonna have multiple days within the week, then your volume needs to be split up between those days unevenly. And a good way to kind of view it, and a good way to kind of like think about it in a sense, is that like your main movements need to be like 45% of like your total volume for that movement for the week. So for instance, if we have squat and we're squatting one time, let's say on Monday, and we're squatting again on Friday, having the main day, whether that's Monday or Friday, if it's on Monday, then 45% of our volume needs to fall on that day. I'm sorry, this is more for 3 days a week. So 45% of our volume needs to fall on Monday, and if we squat again on Thursday, then 27% of the volume for the week needs to fall on that. And then on Saturday, if we squat again, or bench, or deadlift, whatever, then 27% of that needs to fall on that day as well, if that makes sense. And then for 2 days a week, we're gonna do, more like a 60-40 type of rule. But basically we are dogpiling the volume on one day, and then we're splitting what's left between the other two. But it should not be split evenly. We shouldn't be doing the same amount of volume each time that we come in and squat, because that doesn't put emphasis and focus on the one movement. So we use almost half of our volume for the week on one day, and then we split what's remaining between the other 2 days as evenly as we can. So sometimes, like for me, for bench, for instance, it doesn't look that different. So for me to do it, I'm gonna do like 4 back off sets on my main movement day, on my main bench, and I'm only gonna do 3 on this day. Which is like small adjustments here and there that doesn't seem like they are big deals or that they're important or that that it's gonna do anything. But having more emphasis on one day where the fatigue is really, really high after that day, and that way we're not building the same amount of fatigue on the other 2 days, I think is really what's important. And honestly, like when it comes to programming, I think that's one of the things that I struggle with the most is knowing sets and reps and what we should be in, and how all this should coincide with each other and within itself. Whew. All right. Not too bad. All right, incline's done. We got guillotine press on the Smith machine. This day is absolutely focused just to hammer, fatigue my pecs, what's, by any means necessary, whatever it takes. Pecs are by far my weakest part when it comes to my bench, not even close, not a competition. My triceps take over a lot when I bench. And if you just look at my physique compared to if you compare my shoulders, triceps, if you compare them to my pecs are the smaller of those three when it comes to this movement. So this day needs to be focused to hit pecs, basically fatigue with the pecs, whatever it takes. So guillotine press. But when I think about movements for my pecs, or what position I want to be in to help grow my pecs, stretch them, to all that stuff, there's not a better position to be in than this right here for my pecs. Now, it may not be the most optimal. It may not be the quote unquote safest exercise that we can do. I understand that. Don't really care. So the whole point of this right now is to get good pec work in by keeping the weight light and controlled, which is why we're using a Smith machine for it instead of using a barbell. It takes a lot of the risk out of it because even if by bringing the bar up really high and keeping my elbows flared, there is no this movement, there's no this movement. The only thing I can do is go down and up. That's pretty much it. So I understand this might not be the look like the safest movement, and I understand there's probably some better things out there that I could be doing, but honestly, if that's all you got to say, I don't know what to tell you. So we throw these in for a while until we can stimulate some pec growth. Then I will take them out. They will irritate my shoulders at some point. Right before that happens is when I try to pull out, when I start to feel like these are just kind of really irritating my joints and stuff. So I don't think that any movement is inherently harmful as long as we're doing it correct in a controlled manner. So that's kind of where I'm at with these as well. Is I don't think that this is a bad movement. I don't think this is something to fear. But I do feel like we need to do this in a safe manner. And I feel like, for right now, what that means is the Smith machine. I feel like that's the best course of action we can do here. Because I still want to use the movement. The movement does help me grow quite a bit. So we're gonna leave it in. We're gonna use it, and that's pretty much it. So when we're doing these guillotine presses, like I said, I really like to do it on the Smith machine itself because it takes a lot of the only part of the movement that you're getting is up and down, so I feel like it's a little safer to do. But we're allowing our elbows to flare real bad to where we can get like a nice big deep stretch in our pecs, and we're bringing the bar from like our neck to very upper chest, very like the very, very top of our chest, almost on our collarbones. So that's what we're shooting for. And as you can see, like when I do it, what I'm trying to do is just get like a nice big stretch and keep tension on the pecs the whole time. And I'm still trying to drive my pecs, but putting my up in that position gets me like a pretty good stretch for it. So I like these a lot. I like to throw them in for like short periods of time, get some good amount of work out of it, and then move on. So like at some point we will stop doing these, and I'll replace them with probably just like a normal bench on the Smith machine. So something I can just have, I can really focus on contracting my chest, getting a good stretch in it. So, but take the factors out of it. We can take out the dumbbells of doing like a guillotine press. So that way we have, not an ISO movement. So we have, with our joints moving together, the risk of injury is a little lower in my head for something like this because I'm not trying just to stabilize one side. I kind of have both of my hands, and I have, they're kind of working, everything's working in conjunction with itself in my upper body to really focus and bring the bar down and back up. And then obviously, like I said, with it being a Smith, I don't have to worry about it twisting, turning, one side going down more, going down here, and then like dumping or this or that, or I don't have to worry about any of that coming too high or too low as it would on a barbell. So Smith machine takes a lot of the risk out of it. So then at this point, the only risk that we're really having is just like the fact that our elbows are flared and we're getting a good stretch in our shoulders, which I do see. I can see the issue in that, and I can see how that it could be or is harmful to our shoulders to be in that position. But again, I don't think that doing this for a short period of time is going to do anything. As long as we're being safe with this movement, and we're not overdoing it, where we are not loading the weight up. If I had 315 on here, trying to take out a heavy single on a guillotine press on Smith, I absolutely can see it. 135, as you guys can see, moves very well. If anything, I probably could go to like 185 to 225 and hit some sets of 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 reps. I could probably do, well, we'll just call it 135 just for easy math. But I could probably do 135 on this bar for, probably like 20, 25 reps at a time. But if I keep it at 10, I can just get a good pump in, is like kind of where my head's at with it. That's kind of like what the focus is just to get blood flow, get a good pump, all that stuff. So, all right, we added these in last week, and I tell you what, the pump on these were, in my head, absolutely insane. I like this one a lot, so we're gonna keep this one in. We're just gonna do like an incline, like a pec fly. So I've seen these as like an alternative to like a flat one. People say that they can be a little bit, a little safer, a little easier on the shoulders. So kind of like what we're talking about with doing this guillotine press on the Smith machine, if you can kind of take some of the risk out of it and do it smart and controlled, and take a lot of the injury risk out of it, I think that movements are okay to do. I don't think movements are inherently bad. I don't think there should be movements that are the devil or nothing like that. But I really like these a lot because I feel like I can get a real good stretch down here. All right. Whew. Then we're gonna add in, like you just saw, some tricep, like rollbacks with dumbbells. Obviously, so I'm from West Side. I like to do these pretty much like as my main tricep mover throughout the week. I'll do them like on an incline. I'll do them on the bench. I'll do them on the floor. It doesn't really matter. I really like them a lot. It's a good movement in my head. So when I do program them though, I always like to do, like I said, multiple times like throughout the week as like one of my main like tricep exercises that I can do But a good way I can do structure it to where it's not stale, stagnant, whatever, is I can program different types of them. So I can do, like a lighter weight, like I am right now, like using 25s, and do it for like sets of 20, and just get like a lot of blood flow into my triceps. I also can do it with a little bit of heavier dumbbells and bring the reps down, do like 10, like sets of 10. I also can throw the easy curl bar in there. I've done that before, stuff like that. So, and like I said, with the variation of doing it on an incline, a flat bench on the floor. If I had a decline bench, I'd do it on a decline bench too. But I really like this movement a ton. They've always been one of my favorites when it comes to tricep builders. And I will say I've never really had problems growing my triceps, whether in size or strength. So, and I attribute this a lot to that, is this exercise right here, and doing it in different capacities, doing it for higher reps, for more sets, stuff like that, than I on one day than as opposed to the next. So, pairing heavy tricep rollbacks with lighter, way more reps. So I've had really good luck doing this before for like sets of 25, sets of 30s, between 20s and 30s. I've had really good success doing like AMRAP sets with these. I've had really good success doing straight sets with these. I've had success with pretty much everything. Rest pause sets, supersetting like we are now with another movement. So had a lot of really good success no matter what I've done with this movement, as long as I'm doing the movement. So if and when you find an exercise like that, I feel like that automatically means that like it is a good exercise. If I can throw it in anywhere, in any capacity, it's a fairly good exercise. I think a lot of people underestimate the vital role that your triceps play when it comes to your bench. Now I took it too far extreme, and I did realize pretty early on that the more my triceps grew, the more my bench would go up. I took it too far in the aspect of I then basically did not train direct pec work because I was just so hammered on triceps, and I thought that if I just did more tricep work, that my bench would grow, because while I'm still doing chest work, it's just in my bench, it's just in my movements. But I was never focused. I didn't have like a pec focused day. I didn't have pec focused movements. I always feel like it's a little different if I'm doing a movement for a certain thing as opposed to just doing the movement in general. If I do incline bench, yeah, of course it's going to work my pecs. But if I feel like I'm very intentional with the fact that what I want to do is grow my pecs when I'm doing it, it's a lot easier to concentrate on getting that good stretch in my pecs, and then really contracting the pecs and then like moving the weight with my pecs. I feel like it's a lot easier to do that if that's the goal. So I vastly underdid pec work because I was too focused on triceps. But I still think that most people have a tendency to undervalue just how important triceps really are when it comes to your bench. So I think that they go hand in hand with everything else in some ways. Uh, but if your bench is lacking and you're pretty well rounded, physique wise or strength wise, your pecs aren't much weaker than your triceps or shoulders. If I had to lean more towards one, I'm going to say stronger triceps are going to be really the move. Personally, it's just kind of like my opinion. So, not to say you're not using your pecs throughout the whole movement, but I feel like the majority of the movement is going to be a lot of tricep work, and the stronger your triceps are, the better. Just because at your lowest point in your bench, you are going to use a ton of pecs to get yourself moving. But your elbow joint is going from here to extended the entire movement, which means that your triceps are actively pushing to get your elbow straight for pretty much the entire movement. And I'm not saying that pecs aren't involved, that's not what I'm saying. But at that top part of the movement, I'm going to argue it's going to be mostly triceps, because a lot of what you're trying to do is just to push your elbows straight. So triceps, I feel like anymore are super undervalued when it comes to people's programming and training. I feel like I don't see a lot of it in programming as much as I think that we should be seeing it. Oh man, there we go. All right, now speaking of triceps, something that I ran into a ton, and I still do, and I am currently right now, is elbow tendonitis. I always get it real bad. I've got it real bad for years now, just from doing heavy tricep work and stuff like that, which I feel like everything comes with some type of a cost. But the only thing that I've ever seen that's worked, I got from Louis Simmons, I stole it from him for sure, is doing band work for triceps. Very, 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 very high rep sets, multiple sets, ton of sets, throughout the day, throughout the week, whatever it may be. So what I like to do is, if I do a bench day where I do hit triceps to a point to where I get a good amount of work in, but my elbows start to feel a little irritated, which I do right now, which isn't the end of the world. What I'd like to do is just take a band, like we can use like the small yellow band, and get just a decent amount of tension on it. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a grip that I want to do for the movement. Like right now, I'm just gonna take more of just kind of like a neutral-ish grip. Maybe not neutral, but whatever you want to call it. Palms facing each other. Can't think of the word right now. Who cares? And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like a tricep push down that I would, and I'm just going to kind of just do these for the next minute, basically. So I like to kind of keep a good count in my head. It doesn't have to be exact per se. Like, the point of this is not to do, we have to do 50, we have to do 76 reps each set. We're not progressing this. This isn't a progression thing. This isn't, let's add more band tension, let's add more weight every single week. That's not the point of these. What I'm trying to do is, just as if we're doing like a cable push down for these, all I'm trying to do is just do the normal movement, and I'm focusing on coming down and squeezing my triceps to get good amount of work into my triceps. And what this is going to do by doing like these higher rep sets, it's just going to flood my elbow with blood and hopefully start the healing process, if that makes sense. Now, this is all like meathead talk. This is all like meathead jargon. I don't fully understand like the science to that, and I don't even know if that's true. I don't know if blood is rushing to it or what's going on. It doesn't really matter. What I do know is that they work. And the same, what I was saying before too is I got these from Louis Simmons, and he talked a lot about doing higher rep stuff, getting blood in there is going to help heal tendons and stuff. Again, I don't know what exactly it's doing. I'm not a doctor, nor am I studying, that type of field. But what I can say is my elbows hurt and have tendonitis if I do a lot of banded push downs, higher reps for a bunch of sets. The elbow pain goes away. It's the only thing that's ever got my elbow pain to go away, and it's also the only thing that's ever like kept it from coming back sometimes. So doing these is like a prehab thing. Can help a ton. So, I'm starting to feel a little bit in my elbows, just a little bit of like tight stiffness. So we're gonna do these now. We're gonna kind of throw these in, hopefully at the end of workouts and stuff like that. And it hopefully will help. It won't, not hopefully, I know it will. I've done it 1,000 times. So now all we're gonna do is we're basically gonna do the same thing, but this time I'm gonna take like a different grip. I'm just gonna do my palms down on these ones. Again, we're just gonna take like a decent amount of band tension. The whole point of this is not to do a bunch of band tension. It's not to do weight. It's not to move anything. And I honestly, I almost don't even focus too much on like the speed of the reps, the amount of reps per se. Like, yeah, I've sat here before and counted to like, to do sets of 50, stuff like that. I try to shoot for around 50. But the most thing I'm trying to do is just trying to get like a good feeling in my triceps. There's a certain level of like, if I can get a certain pump into my triceps, that's kind of like what I'm looking for. Again, I'm not actually counting. If I had to guess, I'm around 35 reps right now. Maybe right now around 40s. So we'll stop like around like what I think is around 50. But again, the point of this movements is not to progress it. It's not to push it. The point is to get our elbows just to feel better. So like I said, if I can throw these in, if I do start to have like real elbow pain and have real bad tendonitis, I'll come do this like multiple times throughout the day. So I'll do this after my workouts in the mornings, and then when I get home, I'll do these again. And then if I have time later in the evening, I'll do these like another time, just to get blood into my muscles. It really does help. I've done it multiple times. Again, I don't know the science. I don't know if everybody, if what they're saying is truthful, that just putting blood into the joint helps it heal, or this is helping tendon strength. I don't really know for sure, but I do know that they work. I do know that make me feel better. So, and then we're gonna do like another one. What we're gonna do is like palms up, And honestly, I don't see why you couldn't do this for any joint and for any movement because like if I do tricep push downs heavy, that's really what irritates my elbows. It's not so much the bench, but it's all like the tricep work that comes after that really starts to like irritate my elbows. So give a little less tension, so we're getting a little too hard to do them. But I don't see why you couldn't do this for anything. If you have a lot of problem, like a lot of knee pain, a lot of tendonitis in your knees, when we're doing extension, I don't see why you couldn't hook a band up to the back of a rack and either sit or stand or who cares, and just sit here and do some like leg extensions with like a very light band. Even like this yellow band I think would work super well to sit or to set it up on like a leg extension, leg curl machine, to where all we're doing is, a little bit of load, and we're just repeating that movement over and over and over with the band. I don't see why that concept wouldn't work as well. You know, I wouldn't see why if we had some type of like tendonitis or reoccurring pain in our hip, you know, if this works for this, I don't see why we couldn't sit here and do like, you know, like a knee raise, you know, with a band somehow on us, whether it's on our foot or our knee or something. Shoulders as well. If we're having a lot of rotator cuff like problems, I don't see why we couldn't sit here and do like some external rotations for higher sets, for higher reps, and really work blood into that muscle. Or again, whatever this is that's working, whatever part of it, who cares? But I don't see why we couldn't do this for every movement. Now, I don't have a lot of problems with my other joints, other than like my shoulders sometimes will hurt. And then occasionally I'll get like a hip or knee pain for like 2 weeks, and then it pretty much goes away. But other than that, my elbows are really my problematic joint. But I don't see why you couldn't do this for everything else, for all the other movements. So, and again, we can kind of do whatever we want here, and we can kind of use any movement that we want to use. And we can use any amount of band tension that we want, as long as the focus is not the band tension. And what we're doing is we're not trying to move more weight. We're not trying to turn this into like grinder sets. You know, if you can't do this right here, you can't talk through the movement. And honestly, half the time, I kind of just zone out. Like I don't even like I said, I don't even really count these. I don't really look at the time. I just kind of do these until I get like a good feeling in my triceps. And as it progresses, then that feeling becomes or comes quicker and quicker and quicker. So all I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to get blood into the muscle, you know? That's it. So, and honestly, I don't even know if I do these for a certain amount of sets even. Sometimes in the past I've done it to where, well, I'm going to do 4 sets of 50. I'm going to do 6 sets of 75. I'm going to do 2 sets of 100. It just seems to work better if I just kind of do them for whatever amount of time that I may have allotted for it and just go from there. You know, and honestly, there's a ton of stuff that you can do since this is like a thinner band. You know, we're going to do some like just ISO, just single arm push downs for these. We'll do this as like our last set. But again, we're not trying to move weight. So what I don't need to be focused on right now is like getting a big deep stretch and then contracting and holding and fighting the eccentric. That's not really the point. What I want to happen is I want my elbow joint to be moving, and I want you know, to go from a bent elbow position to a straight elbow position. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do is just use my triceps to do it. So all I'm doing here is just going and like basically squeezing my tricep until it goes straight. And the band tension will bring it back up, you know. I don't need to like be loose and like let it flop or nothing like that. But I don't need to like get so much band tension that like I have to be able to get a stretch and stuff like that. Not really the point. I just use it for the movement itself, like almost as if like I was just doing like an elbow, like I was doing a tricep push down with no weight. It's kind of like what we're doing here. I'm just focusing on like just like squeezing my tricep, pushing it down, squeezing my tricep, letting it go. Like that's it. Just we're on repeat. And that's pretty much it. So we'll do this probably again, like maybe tomorrow. Again, I'm not having like wild amounts of elbow pain. I'm not having a bunch of tendonitis in my elbows right now, but I can feel a certain stiffness in my elbows. So we're just gonna try to like get around that now while we can, try to get ahead of it. So we'll, you know, put this in and you try and do this like every day. Now, generally I do this about once a week already. So all I'm gonna do now is throw it in a couple more times until we can get this to go away. And then still we're gonna leave it in for a little longer just to kind of like put the nail in the coffin, go back to once a week, and then we'll last hopefully for a few months without any elbow pain. So yeah, other than that, it's pretty much all I got for today. Pretty good bench day. You know, pecs are very pumped, triceps are very pumped, feels phenomenal, weight moves well in my main movement. The accessories went fairly decently well. I think, what we wanted to is to get a good pump in the pecs, and that's exactly what we did. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Tomorrow, main squat day, main deadlift day. Looking forward to it. Super excited for that. Don't know what we have yet planned for it. To be honest with you, I think I'm going to come in and kind of just see how the day goes. Start putting weight on the bar, really to see how things are moving for it. So, main squat has not fallen on the last day of the training week. So we're kind of going to see how this goes. This either is going to go a lot better because I'll be a lot looser, more warmed up, more primed, more ready to go, or it won't because I'll be more fatigued. But I think it's something we'll just worry about tomorrow. Not a big deal. Nothing today that we're going to stress about. So tomorrow we're going to get to it. Again, if you guys make it to the end of the videos, liking, subscribing, all that stuff really helps me out a ton. All I'm trying to do here is just show what normal training may look like for most normal guys. I have a wife, I have a kid, I have responsibilities, I have a full-time job, I have everything. So things look differently than what it looks like the guys that compete at Sheffield and stuff like that. So I do not squat 900 pounds. I do not have a bunch of sponsorships. I cannot do this full-time. So